Hello and good day to you. Our session this round is called Google Drawings. Google Drawings for me is one of the most powerful, versatile, and underutilized tools in the G Suite. And best thing of all, it's easy to use. The way I'm going to get to drawings is the way I get to many of my Google items, and that is just by typing in what I want, and that's drawings.google.com. Of course, you can go through your drive. You can get to drawings through the blue rectangle on the left or even in the waffle. As you can see, I just went to drawings.google.com, and here I am with my untitled drawing. When you arrive here, you will note that the menu bar at the top is very similar to every other application you are used to. And down here, the toolbar has some items that look familiar as well. The first thing I'm going to do is label my drawing. I'm just going to click up here in the box, and I'm going to call this Geometric Shapes. Geometric Shapes. And then click out anywhere. You can see it's saving automatically, and all changes have already been saved to my drive. When I first open this, I'm looking at a blank canvas. This canvas can be adjusted in size with your grab bar down here, or it can be adjusted by going to File. Down here, it'll give you an option, Page Setup. And you can see the standard setup is 4:3. There's some widescreen and then also some custom settings. With custom settings, you can change it to different sizes with inches and centimeters or points and pixels. We're going to come back to that for our second session. Let's get started up here and look at the toolbar. Right here is a text box, and the first thing I'm going to do is just click on text box, and I can enter some text in here, Geometric Shapes, and this is chapter 2. And if I click out of it, this is set. I can move this around pretty easily on my page. I can change the size of this. I just highlighted it, go up here and change the size. I can change the font type. I can change the color of my text. One of the nice things that I find in Google Drawings is that we have the opportunity to use word art. Many of you remember word art and how easy it is to use. And if you don't remember it, I can tell you as soon as the students get their hands on it, everything becomes word art. I'm just going to put in Geometric Shapes. I hit enter. It appears in the center of my page. And right now it's defaulted to Arial. I'm going to make this Comic Sans. And I'm going to change the color by going up here to the paint can, fill color. And my fill color is going to be pumpkin orange. And then I'm going to drag this up to the top. And you can see what a difference it makes when I use word art. It really comes alive. I'm just going to delete this text box up here and use Geometric Shapes. If I'm making geometric shapes, I can go to my shape tool right here on the menu bar and one click on shapes. I'm going to start out by making some circles, or some ovals actually. I'm going to make some circles because I could use these for markers. And so this marker I'm going to make yellow. I know this doesn't really go along with geometric shapes, but now I have a yellow marker. And of course, I also need a red marker. I'm going to make this one red and make its border and body red. Now I have some shapes started on my page. I'm just going to copy this and then paste some copies of this on here. The lines are actually alignment lines and will certainly help you with spacing during your setup time. These shapes don't have to necessarily live on the page. They can live on the side as well. And the students could actually be responsible for dragging them into your diagram that you've created. So these might live on the side. I'm going to go back up here to shapes again, and I'm going to get myself a nice rectangle. Actually, let's get a nice parallelogram. And once I have this parallelogram, let's change the color of this too. A nice blue. If I click inside the parallelogram, I can actually put text in here. And because I put the text in the object actually, the text actually will live in the object. And if I wanted it to be a text box in there, then I would have to create my own text box. And then the shape would not move with the text box unless I group them together. So if I did a text box, excuse me, if I did a text box in here, this is a text box. When I move my shape, the text box hangs back here. The way I could attach it in there if I wanted to would be to group these items together. Group together. And now they'll move as a unit. And like I said, I'm going to keep them off to the side. And the students are actually going to place these objects in the diagram. Let's just say I wanted a picture. If I wanted a graphic, really nice in Google Drawings, I can go up here to insert picture, insert image, and you can upload an image of your choice. Take a picture with the Chromebooks. It's pretty easy to take a snapshot, and that's fast. You could throw it in with your URL or your album or Google Drive. I really like this search feature because most of this stuff is royalty free, and I don't have to credit anyone with this image. And so I'm going to go in here and say geometric shapes, do a little search. You'll see another thing about these images in here. There are some really nice images. We'll see that again when we do another drawing. I can take this drawing now, throw it in this graphic and throw it in my drawing. If I want the letters on top, then I have to move this to the back, send to back. But I'm actually going to crop this picture, that's a right click, or if you're using a Chromebook, Alt and tap on the keypad. Crop image, and I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the students to do some labeling of these objects. And so they're going to need to have a text box. And cylinder. I think I've spelled that right. And I'm going to stick that here. And now I need a little arrow. I can go up here to my shapes, and I have arrows up here. I have equations up here. I want to just put a plus sign here. I could make a plus sign. I know it has nothing to do with geometric shapes. Head it back to shapes. And a nice equal sign. And then go back to shapes, arrow, and now I'm going back to fix that cylinder. You can see it's defaulting to blue right now, so I'm going to change this to red. And now I've labeled my cylinder, and I actually have created something. So I'm going to move these around. 2 plus 2 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. That's nice. Now let's throw this drawing away. We're going to start over. The easiest way to start over for me is I can either undo this whole thing, or I can just sweep over this way and hit delete. And since I have unlimited space in my Google Drive, just hitting delete doesn't necessarily, you don't have to necessarily do that. If you want to save that, then obviously just go up here, file, and you could open a new Google Drawing right from here. Next thing I'm going to talk about, though, is how I would make a header for my Google Classroom or my Google Sites. Down here, page setup. And page setup has to be custom, and it has to be pixels. And in pixels, 800 by 200 is going to give you the right size if you want to make a custom classroom header. You can see what happened to my canvas. It's changed into the shape of a header. And in Google Sites and Google Drawings, I'm going to need a PDF or a JPEG. I'm going to start by, we're still called geometric shapes, so I'm going to go in here and find an appropriate image. I'll use that same image again. Select. And I'm going to make this a little bit larger. A little bit larger. I'm going to pull it into the same size as my header. And then I'm going to make a copy of this and paste. Pull that one over here. And now I have a nice header created. And I'm going to now save this header. Save, download as, and I'm going to actually download it as a JPEG. And when I download it as a JPEG, I'm calling it Geometric Shapes, and I'm going to save it. Saves Geometric Shapes. What are some of the things that I can use and do with Google Drawings in my classroom? Let's take a look at that. If you wanted to, let's go back to my drawing for a moment, and I'm going to open a new drawing. Let's just say I wanted to do an exercise on World War II, and I found a drawing I really like, and it came from kenbrown.info. I just go to View Image, grab my snipping tool, and then I'm going to snip this. This is just another way to get an image into drawings. And this drawing is called Maps. Just call it Annotations. Annotations, and I can paste this drawing right in. And the assignment for the students is going to be locate some of the battles that we've spoken about in class. So what they could do is go right here, and they're going to make a circle. And before I make this circle transparent, I'm going to give it some size so that I can see it. And I'm going to say in here, Battle of the Bulge. And I want to center this. Of course, I can justify it up here. And maybe I want this a little bit bigger. Battle of the Bulge. And now I want my shape transparent. So I can go fill color, transparent. I can't see my letters Battle of the Bulge very well, but you got the idea. And this can be moved around still. I can make this smaller. Or another thing that I might be able to do is just stick this out here. Battle of the Bulge. And remember, we can go in here to Shapes, grab an arrow. And now I want to take my arrow and put my arrow right here. I could put annotations all over this map. Another thing that I might be able to do is take, if I'm using this on my website, definitely credit kenbrown.info, which I didn't do before, but you could just grab the website, kenbrown.info, this website that I got this from. So I'm going to give credit to Ken Brown, probably just down here somewhere on my page, just so that if I'm using this on the web, I've credited whoever the image came from. Maybe I want to do something else with the image. Maybe I want to take a piece of Americana, like Industrial Revolution. So I'm going to do a search, Industrial Revolution. Search. And I want my students to, now remember, I don't need to do any crediting on this one. And maybe I want them to give me some annotations as to what is going on in this picture. This guy is really smiley. Now, once again, I can use my shapes. And I can say this guy is smiley. Why is this guy smiling and no one else in the picture is? Oh, here's another smiler, I think, over here. If I want to link this picture to an actual website, I could go to a particular website. Let's just go back to this World War II visit page. I'm going to take this address, copy it, and remember I have these guys back here. I could actually add a link to this by going up here, insert link, and I inserted the link for the World War II map. So when my students get here, if they have a question about it, they can actually just click on this, and this will take them to whatever site is linked. All right, what are some of the other things I can use Google Drawing with? I could create a timeline. This one's a little bit more elaborate. Nice timeline though. I could do something with graphic organizers or templates. Lots of templates available out there. Actually, I put some links on here. Matt Miller from Ditch That Textbook has a lot of templates already made. So no matter what grade level you are teaching, you can modify these templates to fit your need. You can see the Venn diagram on the left. You could make an infographic, which is very popular today. These infographics grabbing information and putting a little visual with a piece of information. You use them for creating some comics. It could be real figures and real pictures or something out of clip art. As you remember, I talked about the headers. I really like using these for the headers in my Google Classroom or for Google Sites. Maps, we talked about maps and how you would pull map in and allow the students to annotate on it. Or maybe you are going to create the annotations and let the students actually put them in place. Digital manipulatives. We did a little bit of this in the beginning of my session with the yellow and the red. Makes a nice activity board for the students to actually do the work, a little bit more student driven. Here's a great interactive. Use it for money or for clocks. I also put the website of this resource down there. Image annotations, we did talk about this a little bit as well. You can see this is nicely done with a painting, and this was in a world language class. And then using it in math, a lot of different applications that you could use it in math. Logos, add and pass activities. I appreciate watching Google Drawings today. I hope I answered some of your questions and you feel the same way I do, that this thing is a great tool for the classroom for both you and the students. Have yourself a great day.